This podcast is brought to you by Destination Specialists, one of the longest-standing travel agencies in Cebu City. For all your travel needs, go to Destination Specialists. It's the travel agency that delivers happiness. So if you're planning your travels, whether it be for business or pleasure, give them a call at 032-2312-461 or visit their website, destinationcebu.com. They've got 2 branches. The first is located in the upper ground level of SM City, Cebu. It's above the food court. And then the other one is in the second level of Banilad Town Center above Dim Sum Break. And visit them, give them a call for all your travel needs. Head over there. Also, they do a really good job on Instagram. So if you want beautiful travel photos on your Instagram feed, want a little inspiration, a little more beauty in your feed, you can follow Destination Specialists on Instagram at Destination Specialists, and or on Facebook too. In Facebook, they also post along with the beautiful photos. They also post the many travel packages available. So yeah, Facebook.com/Destination Specialists. Go out and take a trip. Let's get to the show. Welcome to 032 Conversations, the podcast where we talk to creatives, see how they live, and how they do their work. I'm your host, Carlo Villarica. You know, I should have done this before I started talking. I read this article. Shout out to a friend of mine, Ingrid. I saw this article that he posted, and it's an article written by Mark Manson. It's a good one. I mean, a little oversimplified and, written the Mark Manson way, but it's called The Life is a Video Game. Here are the cheat codes. And he begins to compare life and a video game and basically his very simple rules to do well in that video game. So the part that I found interesting was in defining this life as a video game. He talked about that how players there are 2 ways that players respond to problems. They respond either with solutions or distractions. I'll read a little bit from the article. All players must meet problems with a reaction. Even choosing not to react to a problem is itself a reaction. All reactions can be divided into 2 ways: solutions and distractions. Solutions are actions and pursuits that resolve a problem, preventing it from continuing or happening again in the future. Distractions are actions or pursuits designed to either make the player unaware of the problem's existence or to dull the pain the problem may be causing. I found this particular concept to be interesting because it made me think about the things that I've been doing, that I've been it made me reflect and question about the things that I spend my time doing. Like, for example, is this thing a distraction or a solution? I know I've gotten a lot from this podcast. I've been doing it for almost 3 years, and that's a pretty long time to be doing something. And, this is my 3rd year, so going to be 3 years. But the thing with doing this podcast, it's the reason why I'm bringing it up that it might be a distraction because it really is a fun thing to do. It's a lot of work, but it's also fun to do. It feels good to do. And I believe in my heart, I just said in my heart, I believe that it's a solution to something. Like, I really think a lot of people get something out of it, enjoy something. I think, like, if you are listening to this and you don't know what to do with, maybe you just graduated college or you're in college and you don't know what to do, I think this is something that can give you a very local perspective, a very close to home perspective, and you get to know about people who have been in your shoes and are doing something that you may want to do in the future. I think there's real value there. And but I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing this as a distraction to becoming, it. I don't know. I don't know what I want to say. Like it feels productive, but I don't know if it is productive for me. Anyway, just a rhetorical way of me saying that again, it's always good to reflect on what you're doing. Yeah. Is this a distraction or a solution? I don't know. Anyway, the Assembly Online, our online store. I recently restocked the Trans Central jersey. That's the cycling jersey with the Trans Central Road there. So if you want to help support this podcast, consider purchasing something from the Assembly Online. And if you like cycling you should check out this cycling jersey that we recently released. It's called the Trans Central. It's the topographical map of the iconic Trans Central Highway here in Cebu. And if you want a 20% discount, use the promo code CONVERSATIONS. Conversations. It'll get you 20% off on all 032 items. You can just head over to assembly.032.com. And in this episode, I talked to Jerros Dolino, or most people, I myself call him Jai. And wow, I'm not even really sure how to introduce Jai. He is a drummer. For me, like one of the best drummers that Cebu has ever made in my mind. And then it's really great because like in my head, he's like one of the best drummers ever. And then one of the first things we talked about in the podcast was how difficult it was for him to session Joaquin McWhinney of Big Mountain, to session for that guy because his drummer was really good. And that's the first thing Jai started talking about, which in my head was, wow, you're like one of the best drummers ever. And you're telling me that you were having a hard time. But he is one of the best drummers ever. He's played for a million bands. I know him as under Urbandub, Sheila and the Insects. Of course, he recently sessioned for Joaquin McWhinney of Big Mountain. He played for PG-18 way back in the day and a lot of reggae bands. He's played for a lot of people. He's currently playing for Megumi Accorda. You should check out her music. Really good stuff. I'm even proud to say that he sessioned for us a little bit. Like there were a few gig dates back in the day that Jason, our drummer, couldn't make, and he helped us out. And in fact, there's a story. One of my favorite Outpost stories revolves around Jai. I've told it in a few episodes, and I tell it again here as I was talking to him. And yeah, he's one of my local music heroes and really cool person to hang with. So yeah, I hope you like this episode. Before we get to this episode, if this is your first time to listen to 032 Conversations, please subscribe. We have a new one every Tuesday. All right, let's get to that conversation with Jai.
That was the plan, but something happened between. I had to tour with an artist from the US. And then after that, I came back. Now I'm here until end of February, because apparently I had to go back to Manila for a gig on February 29th. Yeah, and then after that, I'm supposedly going to start work around mid-March. So, supposedly.
Work as a lawyer, Japon.
Yep. Hopefully I get another job in government. So I wanted to move to where I was now currently staying. I used to be based in Makati. So because my previous job was there, but when I moved to Quezon City, it was a too far drive.
Is that why you decided to...
Part of it, yeah, part of it. Part of the reason why.
In Manila,
yeah.
ba, no, that's really a big thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah, man. You really have to decide to whether or not you have to pay for your time. Like, when I got my first job in Manila, I was staying really far away because it was free. Then I was thinking, oh my God, I have to decide what to do with my 6 hours on commute. Like 4 to 6
6
hours.
hours? Seriously?
4 to
4
6 hours commute, yeah. Man, I had to wake up at 4 in the morning just to be at the office by 8. And that was like a long ass commute. So I decided to move and pay for my time. Pay for my extra time. It's worth it. It's worth it, actually.
And you're also paying for your commute also. Like, it's not like... I mean, you're paying with the time...
Partly because that time our office had like a bus. Yeah, but I have to take like a long walk. If I didn't do the long walk, I had to do ride habal-habal and then ride another jeep to get to where the bus stop is.
Yeah.
The bus passes by at around 5:30 to 6 in the morning. So...
I interviewed a guy once, from Manila, and then he said, like one of the reasons he decided he's an artist, Reen Barrera, and then he's an artist, and then one of the reasons he became an artist was his commute was killer, and he was not making a lot of money doing the thing that he was doing, but and then he started like just selling his art in Fort or something. And he was making in one weekend what he was making
in the entire week.
Like in a month.
In a month, wow.
Something like that.
Wow.
So he's like,
well, yeah.
I'm only here Friday to Sunday.
Maybe is he selling at those like weekend market things?
He was, but now he's like he's a gallery artist.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then you mentioned you just came from your tour with the guy from Big Mountain, right?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name?
Quino. Actually, his name's Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin. Joaquin McWhinney. He's a Mexican American.
Oh, yeah, how was that, by? Like Big Mountain.
Oh wow, he's a really cool guy. Like really cool guy. Compared to his previous band, it was like, he still has his band. He gave us live videos to learn from, and we were like, holy crap, we can't do this shit. This is really good.
Really?
Yeah, man. But he kind of understood the thing when we got to practicing. We only had like 2 days with him. So even the second day was cut short because he had like interviews and all that crap. So, but he was like very understanding. He's like, it's all right. I'll guide you guys through. I'll just give you hand signals and stuff.
Because like their live show is obviously quite different from like their record or something.
Yeah, that's why he gave us live videos to learn from. We were supposed to learn them really, really good, but it was too difficult. Like the drummer is like one of those drummers you see on YouTube. It's really, really good. Like
yeah,
like the guys who can do like gospel chops and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Oh, for drummers, like gospel chops. Like, it's a thing for, not only drummers, like a lot of musicians come from church.
That's the thing, like, I noticed with me, so, I don't drum, but I'm in music, right? But, like, I can't really tell if a drummer is really good.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm there playing guitar, and then, like, okay, great, I can play with this dude. But aside from that, I'm not really sure how to tell. I know some guys are good, but I can't. You get what I'm saying? Like, unless, like, how do I know if?
Oh, depends on the band that you're playing with. I guess. I mean, as a drummer, drummers are drummers and bass guitar guys. We just have to lock it in.
Yeah.
I mean, the standards that you should judge drummers and bassists are how we keep it together. Like time, keep it locked in. We don't stray from tempo. We don't overplay. It's not like with the melodic stuff where there's a bit of room for improvisation. For drums and bass, there's only so much that we can do that we cannot stray over it. Like
you stay in the pocket. That
yeah,
sort of thing.
just have to stay in the pocket. So that's how you judge it. Like if you're playing in an indie rock band, you can't necessarily glean if that drummer is like so really good technically because he's just doing the simplest stuff. Are actually just the standards for like indie rock and for basic rock. So you don't have to. I don't know how do you say it. You don't have to really sound good enough.
You're not doing anything weird. Like...
Yeah. You need to. You don't because you don't have to do anything weird. Just keep it in time. Keep it in the box.
So what genre is? Can you tell?
Like technical savvy, like hip hop. Like if you watch like a lot of like if you watch like Beyonce concerts, if you watch like hip hop R&B drummers, they're very good technically. A lot of them, yeah. They shed. That's the term for drummers. They shed like a group of drummers. They do it on a weekend. They hang out and just shed. And they call that type of playing sometimes gospel chops. Like it's a term for, from what I understand. Like it started with church drummers. Now it's a thing.
What's an example of that? Like something like you can search on YouTube.
Oh, Aaron Spears, for example.
Okay.
He's coming to Manila, I think, 2 weeks from now.
Really?
Aaron Spears. He got really. I think the whole part of what made the whole gospel chops movement become really big was Aaron Spears doing this drum clinic and this song from Usher. It's called Caught Up.
Okay.
Yeah, and he really killed it, man. Like it's a hip hop.
He's just playing over the song.
And it was very technical, very groovy, and like a lot of musicians were like, "Oh my God, this is possible to play like that." So,
really? So that's like on YouTube. That one is.
Oh man, yeah, it's like.
I'll try to look for it. I'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, there's like a lot of drummers like Aaron Spears and Tony Royster. These are guys who do gospel. I don't do gospel chops, but I like watching them. And these drummers become found. They go into like a lot of genres because of the style of play. Like aside from R&B, there's hip hop. Aside from hip hop, they can do a lot of modern jazz, even reggae, like dancehall reggae. Yeah.
So that's why, like with Joaquin.
Yeah, his drummers
like that.
Yeah, drummer like that. Yeah.
So it's not bad. Like how I imagine you were not given the slot to play drums for him. Like there must have been maybe some sort of audition or whatever.
No, it was well, I've kind of been playing reggae in Manila for the past 2 or 3 years. So, and some of the bands that I've played with pretty much have a high profile in terms of the reggae community. So I met a lot of people. As I'm the guy, you know me. I'm the guy who talks to everybody. Yeah, I don't. When people say, hey, "Dude, you want to play? You want to hang out? You want to jam?" I'm like, "Yes, good." So I was like that.
I mean, we were like that 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago.
That's why I end up in a lot of bands because that's the thing. I give projects chances because most of it is like I got this term from Manila, like usapang lasing. Like a lot of like musicians hang out in the gig at the bar. Dude, we should totally do this jam. Because I want to make this sort of project. And everybody's drunk and everybody's saying yes. But 90% of the time never pans out.
Yeah, nobody ever pushes through.
Yeah. But 10% of the time, it does. And because, by percentage, I'm like the guy who says yes to everything. I get into a lot of bands. Actually, that's my secret. It's not pure talent, man. I just drink a lot.
No, I think you're really good, honestly. I've always wanted to tell you, like, one of my favorite outpost moments, I've said this story so many times to like so many musicians now, is like, I think our band, we had a gig in Outpost, and then we're done with the gig.
Yeah.
So we're just there drinking, hanging out, and we were the only ones inside the room.
Yeah.
So the way Outpost was, there's a room inside, everybody's outside usually, but inside that little room, we were the only ones inside with the waiters. And we're just drinking on the bar, or near the bar.
Yeah.
And then you walk in, and then you had a friend, I never know his name, but one of the really, really, really good bassists.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's John Cinco.
Maybe, John Cinco.
Yeah, John Cinco. It's always him. When we end up like on stage at Outpost, it's always him.
So you and John Cinco walk in. You just sit on the stage on the set and plug in, and you just start jamming. So come here with my friends. We're like, wait, let's hang out. This is gonna be good. So first it's just drum and bass. Whatever, like lingaw na kayo. And then Randy Pajes walks in, and then he sees what you guys are doing, goes back to his car or whatever, and gets his guitar. And then you guys start playing, and you're just jamming out of nowhere. And by, like me, like, I think my whole band was there. McCoy, Jeremy, Jason. Cool. And then we were ready to leave. Yeah. We stayed there an extra hour or two just watching you guys.
You know what? Play. A lot of those things happened in Outpost because the owners, they were Sir Randy and Sir Jones, they were very supportive. They were like, oh, I see John there. Go jam inside. They're like that. Like, especially if Gray's there. You remember Gray? Fiscal Gray. He's a lawyer, tall guy. Okay. Dude. Anyway, we ended up forming a band with Gray because of that. Basically.
Moba? Just jamming?
Yeah, just jamming. We played in Outpost. We actually played like 2 sets. More than once. Probably like several gigs in Outpost. We never rehearsed.
Really?
We never rehearsed. It's
so what were you guys playing?
We just asked Gray what he was gonna play, and if I heard it, John heard it before, we just play around with it.
Like a riff, you mean, or something?
No, just even songs. Like
okay.
So it was like a cover band. It was like a cover band, totally. We could do covers for 2 hours, even if I just barely know the song. Maybe John knows it more, but Gray knows it best. So we just follow his lead. But sometimes we fuck around with him, so they were like, what are you guys doing? You're like, we're doing the blues, man. Whatever. Follow our lead.
It's like just, 2 versus 1.
yeah, we were kind of doing that. We like, you want to jazz it up, something like that. Like,
that was really cool about Outpost.
Yeah, I kind of miss it, yeah.
I realized the nice thing with that venue, is just that the instruments were just there.
Oh, yeah.
And then no one, if you were the last band playing and you came back the next day, it would probably have just stayed the same the whole... Like, you could just go there and plug in and you're playing na ba?
That was the funny thing about Outpost because we just love playing. Regardless of who was watching, there were times where me and John and Gray would end up playing until 2 in the morning and only the waiters were there. It was just us and the waiters. And the waiter was like, they were just, closing up or whatever. They'd give us beers. And we were just...
They gave you guys beers?
Yeah, sometimes. They gave us beers, yeah.
Ba? No?
Sometimes Randy or... just give us a round.
Randy used to drink while playing, good. So,
No, I mean Randy Sue.
Randy Sue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I really miss those days.
Yeah, me too.
But do you still have something like that in Manila?
Wait. There are bars in Manila, but not in the same mold as Outpost, where I could just say, not doing anything. I just go there. I don't know what to expect. I don't know who's there. I just go there and hang out. In Manila, I have to check the gig schedules, who's playing, and is there people I could hang out there with, stuff like that.
So there's more...
there's a lot of things to consider. Like, but sometimes I go there alone, especially if I don't know the bands at all. I'm more comfortable that way. But if there's a lot of people, sometimes I'm like, I'll sit this one out.
Well, is it because you're just not from Manila and you probably don't know as many people, or like it's just so big in Manila?
It's so big, and sometimes to be honest, it gets stressful if there's a lot of people that you know in the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk to everybody, and I just want to sometimes go there, have a beer, and watch bands. Sometimes you end up talking with folks. It's okay, it's fun, but sometimes you just want to chill.
Because I felt like Outpost. When I went, this was like in my 20s.
Yeah.
So that was, I just happened to be the right age where if I just went to Outpost, I was likely to see somebody I knew, and we would just hang out and then watch the gig.
That's how I felt with Outpost. Basically, that was that. In Manila, it's different. You have to check the gig schedules and all that. Maybe it's for some people, they're comfortable enough to hang out at certain bars because probably they know the owners, they know the regulars. But honestly, I don't see bars with regulars. You see prods with regulars. Yeah.
Ah, really?
Yeah, it's like that. Like the prods have regulars. Like.
Ah, yeah. Well, I found that so before McCoy, diba, McCoy was here for a couple of months, and just going out with him. We went back to Draft Punk just to hang out, and then Draft Punk felt a little. I mean, unless na timing na good at that night, no, but it felt a little bit like Outpost.
Oh, cool.
I mean, maybe na timing. I just was there, and then Carlo Rodriguez was there selling stuff.
Well, Draft Punk is for me. Draft Punk is like the closest, one of the closest, if not the closest, to like the part of the crowd of Outpost, like the musicians,
more lagi,
the bohemians, whatever, the reggae guys. They're there a lot.
Yeah, but it didn't have there's just no setup there that's just there. Not like Outpost.
Not like Outpost. On a given night, if there are musicians there, the owners could hey, you guys wanna?
I mean, I don't know. I never got the impression that you guys asked permission. Like, I don't think you just walked in.
Excuse me. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, very informal. Now that you say, there was actually one other venue that was kind of like that. It was Kahayag before.
Yeah.
In the same vein, because we kind of knew the owner, so they were like go ahead. But Kahayag didn't have a drum set, so that was that. It had like an acoustic setup, so anybody could jam, but not like an Outpost where you can rock out anytime you want.
So you're also like you clearly like going to gigs, right?
I do, man. I could say I'm one of the people in Cebu that has watched the most gigs. Like even if not only as a guy who has to play, but also as a guy who likes to watch.
Even so, I haven't been playing at all. Again, though I only played when McCoy was here.
Yeah.
Right, and then even then, there you are. There's Jai.
I'm everywhere, man. It's just I love to hang out and drink. I just like the atmosphere on music. If that's how I describe it, something like that. Yeah, I like it. I like the setting with his bands, his noise.
Do you have a favorite gig moment? Something that you think about, I know you've been playing. I can ask you about that too, but your favorite moment playing. Yeah. But there's also your favorite moment as an audience member.
As an audience member? Oh man, it's a lot of moments, totally. In Manila, I watch shows. For the reggae shows I used to go to this thing called Irish Sunday in B-side. They used to do it on Sundays, reggae bands. But they also invite a lot of reggae personalities from Jamaica.
Oh, really?
From Europe. Man, so cool. It's just not very well known, but a lot of reggae artists from Jamaica go there. Not super major artists, but the important ones actually.
Yeah, because reggae is a whole other genre in itself.
Oh yeah, man. I could talk hours just about reggae stuff, related stuff. Yeah, but that's how I am. I like music, so I end up watching reggae gigs, a lot of reggae gigs, and then back to your question, what kind of shows, with the Irish Sunday crowd. Top shows would have been Sister Nancy. Sister Nancy is this woman from Jamaica. She sang this song that's so important in reggae that everybody should know it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an old song. Like it's
What's it called?
it's part of reggae culture as the music part where there's called the rhythm. Like a rhythm is a part of a song that gets sampled over and over.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like in hip hop, but that whole sampling thing started all in reggae.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sister Nancy's song Bam Bam, the Bam Bam rhythm is so important that a lot of DJs they inject that in at some point on a reggae show. So I gotta watch her in the flesh, Sister Nancy. And who else? With local bands in Manila. Oh, there's this guy. He's in the States, so he rarely plays in the Philippines. But he used to be a singer for this band called Dean's December during the 90s and late 80s. He's not very well known as an artist because he never really got into the mainstream. His name is Binky Lampano. But when I watched his show, he had like 2 shows in Manila. One is at 70s Bistro. It's a mid-sized bar. And another one at Strums, where it's kind of a bit Makati crowd.
So it's bigger?
No, more expensive.
Oh, okay.
So I went through 70s Bistro. They had expensive tickets. I didn't know. I knew him from Dean's December, and I knew he played blues, but I never knew how good he was. When I got there, like, everybody was there. They were part of the Eraserheads. Some people from River Maya. I was like, why are these people here? Then I watched him, and it's like, oh my God, this guy commanded the stage. There was even one point where he has a cane, because I think he has gout or something. Yeah, but it added...
So he's old.
No, man, he's like his 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, early 50s. That's the thing, the cane added to the command, the respect, and everything.
Really?
He's a blues singer, and at some point, he just didn't use his mic anymore, was just singing to the crowd, walking around with his cane. And his voice was so powerful that everybody was transfixed, like, wow, man.
He has a full band behind him.
Oh, man, one of the best bands I've ever seen. Like, the bands his band members in the 90s progressed into being really, really good musicians, session musicians now. So he got them back, and they were like, man. So it was a 2-hour set of him just being commanding. Like, after that, people would talk us about his shows in the past, like how the legends about him, like when Binky one time his set was supposedly cut short because of power failure. He continued singing, and then we jamming with an acoustic guitar, didn't stop a beat. And then 5 minutes later, the blackout came back. The electricity came back, and the band didn't miss a beat, started playing again.
Oh, ba?
Oh, and that was the legend of Binky Lampano. He was like, he can command a crowd. And
that's pretty impressive. Like, you're not using the microphone.
Oh, man.
And you have the full band behind you, and they're loud, probably.
Imagine this venue is bigger than Outpost. Remember the old Handuro in Mabolo?
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Ground floor.
A bit bigger. But his voice got heard over everybody. Like, grabe. He's a legendary singer, Binky Lampano.
No? Wow, boy.
And there are a lot of like shows that I go to Manila that are not that well known, pero are very interesting. Like, if you watch shows in Manila, there's a venue called 19 East. Have you been there?
No.
You should, man. If you want to watch a band in Manila, a bar, it should be at 19 East. You have like millions worth of equipment.
Really?
Big LED wall. Drums alone cost probably around 300,000.
What?
The drums alone, man. Anyway, but this guy, the owner, his name is Wawi Posadas. He's like super rich. He's a musician, very good one. And apparently he did a script on the venue as far as the sound system is concerned. And he picks like really good shows. Like he doesn't mind like from on Fridays he gets like Side A, but on some days he gets like Franco Urbandub and then Dharma Down. And you watch these bands in their element with the best equipment. Totally
Grabe good.
Especially Up Dharma Down, man.
Up Dharma Down is so good.
Yeah. And if you watch them at 19 East, where every little detail is there, and the lights and everything.
So he really shells out for those guys, kay.
Oh man, yeah. But that's only part of it. The show that I watch is Wowie has his own band. He has a cover band called Black Cows. The cover band, they only do. There's sort of a tribute band for this band in the US called Steely Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, Steely Dan is a really good band, like really good music, and that's what Black Cows do. They cover just Steely Dan and the iterations of Steely Dan, because a lot of these singers and musicians branched out into other musical projects. So it's like that. So the singer, he picked the singer that's like well known, Pido. Pido is used to, until now he still plays. He used to be a pop artist in the mode of like Side A and stuff. Then he picked like really good session musicians. So when you go to Black House Night, it's not a full house, but it's like you see like literal, like how do you call it? Like Steely Dan heads. Like these guys, they're in their 50s, in their 60s. Some of them are lawyers. Like I knew this very powerful lawyer who watches the show. But I'm like musicians, and you know, it's a different crowd. And when I watch the band and I watch the crowd, and they're like, we want this song, a song that I barely know. Yeah. Interesting kay siya.
Yeah, Dritso play right away.
Something like that. Yeah, they can do requests.
No? It's so different, like ikaw, like me ba, you're a musician that I look up to, alright?
Oh, thank you.
And then, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, I thought it was obvious. And then, but, like, there's really such a thing as like this musician ba? Kanang like,
oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily mainstream, not necessarily, like, the whole point of them is probably, like, they're probably over all that na nga. They don't need to
yeah. Like with Black Cows, Wowie they sometimes play on Sundays. Because the session musicians, they don't have racket on Sundays. So, they play on Sundays and they play for free. And for me, that's probably one of the most sulit shows that you have to go to. Well, a lot of people don't know Steely Dan. But when you hear the music, it's, okay, I've heard this before.
Yeah, like I've heard the name Steely Dan, but I'm not sure exactly what the music is.
It's sort of a collaboration, of a lot of musicians. But anyway.
How about like you playing by? Like what's your like...
highlights in playing?
Yeah.
Oh. Aside from this Big Mountain thing, I got to do this other reggae dude. He's now based in California, but he's an international artist as well. His name's Pato Banton. He used to collaborate with he became known for that. UB40,
okay.
At one point Sting. And he's a solo artist, yeah. And he came to Manila because he heard that Big Mountain's been here before. Like, in Cebu once before, or twice, I think. And in Manila several times. And apparently, Quino and Pato Banton, they both come from California. And Pato Banton heard that, okay, Big Mountain apparently is going to Manila and, had several gigs. He was going through Asia as part of this, like, tour, not music, but he has this, I'm not sure, it's like an interfaith thing, the Urantia book. I can't explain it. It's like a religion.
Okay.
Yeah, it was going around Asia, and then he was trying to he wanted to drop by the Philippines, and he wanted to, do a couple of shows. So, my reggae band that time was picked to do backup. So, we did like 3 shows with him as well. So that was kind of a highlight for me because I kind of, not that I was so familiar with a lot of his songs, but I heard some of the songs before. So, getting to play with, that was my first time with the...
Is that your first time with like international artist?
Yeah, international artist. After that, there was, that was Quino. And then other highlights, I have a lot. Like, I played with Sugar Free before for about a month.
Oh, yeah?
If you're familiar with Sugar Free,
yeah.
I played with them for about a month. It was a solid learning experience for me. Actually, Sheila, the incest, got mad at me at that point.
Really?
I kind of dropped them to do that. They're like,
so this was years ago.
Oh man, yeah, 2005, I think, 2004, 2005.
Oh.
And they just entered this contest called the Global Battle of the Bands, if you remember back then. There was like kind of this international competition, and it was supposed to be held at Ratski's, and there was a Manila leg and Cebu leg, like sort of like a Wonder Battle right now, something like that. And I already committed to the G-Bob thing. And then this came along, the sugar-free thing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is... I can't say no to this. So I told them, sorry guys, I have to do this for 1 month. And then Bisoy got kind of pissed about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's not like totally mad.
Yeah, but like, it was an issue.
It was an issue. And, he wrote Sheila and Insects had a blog post. I had a blog, so he wrote something passive-aggressive there. Like, Anyway, if Bisoy is listening, it was a
long time ago.
He knows that.
So I actually forgot that you played for Sheila and the Insects for a bit.
Oh yeah, man. I played with them for, I don't know, like 2004 until 2009 or 10.
Yeah, I think when we were getting started, you were with Sheila, I guess towards the tail end of
that, yeah. I was doing law school, so that time when I was jamming with you guys. So that time, it was Sheila was, I think, on hiatus. There was a period where we weren't doing Sheila, but it was sort of a side project called Easy Boy, which never panned out.
Oh, I never heard of this.
Oh yeah, it's when a couple of the songs from Easy Boy made it into the new Sheila album, I think. Yeah. A couple of songs, something like that, probably.
With just Bisoy?
The project was me, Bisoy, and Wesley, but Ian was the one who wasn't available that time. And we replaced him with Poldo Franco.
Yeah.
It was just studio, just a couple of months in the studio. Didn't really pan out, I guess. We needed Ian. Yeah, Ian was the glue that time.
Yeah, but I remember, for me, back in the day, Sheila and the Insects, kind of Ian Zafra, I really liked watching him play live.
Oh man, Sheila is basically Bisoy and Ian.
Mobitaw.
Yeah, it's them. I'm not trying to take anything away from the previous musicians because they were heavy contributors as well. I think the sound of the first 3 albums, Katogid, the members were, everybody contributed.
No, but sometimes, through no fault of anybody, just a band, sometimes you get known.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's one person. Sometimes a band is just one person, and you have no idea who everybody else is.
That's true.
Coldplay could be that.
Yeah, I only know 2 guys. What was his name? Chris Martin and Will Champion, the drummer.
I don't know.
That's true, man. That's true. Yeah.
And then there's also other bands let's say Red Hot Chili Peppers, where you kind of know everybody.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah,
that's true. And for Sheila, for whatever reason, in my mind, for a while, I thought Bobo was King Spade.
King Spade, I thought King Spade.
For a while, he was
oh man,
it's hard to ignore him on stage.
Yeah, that guy has. I tell people this. King Spade, as he is known now, is one of the best musical instincts that I've known in a musician.
Yeah, I'd like to get it. I've never spoken to him. He's one of those guys to me, are kinda intimidating.
He has that vibe, he has that air with him.
No, but I'm sure he's super nice. But like, like if you say bye, say hi.
Yeah.
And then
he's like that. He's not into like a lot of talking.
Well, like, cool. No, I think it'd be cool to talk to him. Like, so you don't keep in touch with like the Sheila guys.
Bisoy, sometimes Ian. We were supposed to watch YouTube together, but didn't pan out. So he went with other people. I went with other people. So we were supposed to see each other. But hopefully, maybe if I contact Ian now and maybe touch base, maybe I'll see him within the next 2 weeks or so.
They played, man, like a few weeks ago.
I know, in Sinulog, man. I was in Manila. So I kind of missed that. Yeah. I want to watch them play. But they played last year in Manila at this festival. I'm not sure. Sonic Noise or Summer Sonic, something like that. With international artists.
Okay.
They were... this guy, he blogs in Manila as well. Maybe you know him, Ian Urrutia. Ian Urrutia he owns Vandals on the Wall.
Oh, that's
it's like
familiar.
a blog or website
about
music scene in Manila. It was kind of big. Like, now he's not so active with Vandals because he's more into the events thing because his events thing got really big. But anyway, one of his favorite bands from Cebu was Sheila, so he actually got Sheila for that event. So I was like, guys, if you're not doing anything, I can drive you around for free tickets, backstage passes. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
No, you know what surprised me, because I don't like I like reggae, right? But not I'm not super into it, but.
I understand. Like I have a lot of conversations like with folks who don't like reggae or are familiar but not into it, and I don't mind. It's like that. It's an acquired taste.
No, but I like reggae, but I'm not like you, who's really into it. Now, I'm surprised having this conversation. I didn't know that. You get what I'm saying? Like I know you as like an alternative music drummer, basically.
A lot of people, I kind of have ended up compartmentalizing because its scenes are like that. Like the reggae scene, they don't like mix. Like if you go to the reggae scene, you don't see the same people with other parts. Like you see one or two cross, but not like how I do it, where I'm like I watch like a lot of shows with everybody.
No, because I've seen you play reggae for sure, right? Yeah. But like in my head, it's like, it's just Jai doing his thing, playing for every band.
I don't know I don't know how. It kind of started in Cebu Banggood. The scene was quite small before, and
probably still is.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was a time sometime in the 80s, they were these guys from the same batch in Boys High, where some of these batchmates ended up starting the reggae scene. Some of these guys ended up starting the punk scene. And some of these guys ended up being important with the new wave scene. Like Batch 89. That's where Bisoy came from. But that batch I think was instrumental to the music scene in a way, because for example King founded Jab People Society, and then a lot of the punks ended up being in SRA, starting SRA, and then sila Pee-wee, they did the whole new wave thing. They were tied together because they were punks, so some of them were crossing. Like the scene before was kind of okay. Now I watch a reggae show and then I go to a punk show. And then I go to a ska show or I go to a new wave show. It wasn't that difficult, trying to watch different shows all at the same time because somehow there were the same people there. But that's how I started out. So that's even how I got into Urbandub, because as far as I know, John or Gabby saw me play with a punk band. And then they also see me play with the reggae band. So that's how when Jed, the original drummer, left, they were looking for another drummer who could do like rock and do reggae at the same time.
So you came to mind.
I came to mind because John used to play in a reggae band. Yeah, Gabby loves Sublime a lot. So sometimes he ends up in, the rock shows before had reggae bands for some reason.
I love Sublime. That is like my favorite.
Oh man, Gabby is like that's his
closest
favorite
to reggae
band.
thing.
Yeah.
Mo
They
ba?
are like reggae and punk. Yeah, reggae, ska, and punk.
Oh, like Urbandub? Oh, Sublime. Oh, yeah. That's why I think I really enjoyed. They had that reggae sound, but it was punk infused in a way.
Yeah.
No?
That was. And a lot of it, that's why a lot of the punk guys end up watching reggae shows. Some of the reggae guys are familiar with punk. So, but not now where everything, like the scenes are so huge that most people just stick to their own thing. Like,
Yeah.
reggae people are watching reggae or reggae shows lang.
Yeah, now there's like this whole like kanang with I don't know about you, but I really like the music that's coming out right now. Okay, it's really good.
It's really good. I love that. Actually, I'm trying to catch up because in Manila, Manggod, I get surprised. Well, good thing that I have a lot of Cebuanos on my newsfeed because Cebu friends, right?
Yeah.
So they post shows like Sila Bobby, Sila Carl. I'm like, holy crap! I just know like one or two bands here, and the entire lineup. I don't know any of the bands now. So I really want to catch up. But I've seen like a couple of bands here that are so cool.
Yeah, no, like so that Sinolo gig where Sheila played. So,
Bitaw, that was a good lineup, no?
Well, here's the thing: I didn't know anybody in that lineup. Zero. Because I knew Sheila and maybe one or two bands, right? So I'm just watching. I'm open-minded. I really want to see, but then I realized, wow, all the bands have like a different sound.
Yeah.
Because there was a time in Cebu where if you'd go to a gig, the sound
similar
was
sounding.
it was all like me. I say like they all tried to sound like a version of Urbandub or fast pitch.
In a way, for me, I saw like that part of the scene before na nice similarities. Although the differences siya. The thing is, common thread. Like it's very melodic, very heavy.
Yeah, kanang ba?
Sometimes there's delay, so it's kind of Urbandub.
But like the fact is, it's hard to just copy somebody who's already doing a really good job at that sound, for example.
That's true.
But now, when I watched that gig in that Sinolo gig, every band had a different, sound.
That's true. And there's a lot to pick from me nowadays. It's like,
that's right.
If you go on Spotify, like suggested music, like boom, 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 boom. I don't even for the last 4 years when I started listening to Spotify, I don't know album titles anymore. I just know artists. I just go to the artist on my Spotify and stream the discography or the most common songs that they have, the more famous ones. Like the first 5, like top 5. If I get deeper, I go through the albums. But I don't like not like before we have like a sleeve.
Like you kind of learn the song in a way.
You learn the song in a way. Now after that, you go to the artist radio and then listen to similar artists or artists that they want to be associated with. So it's kind of like that. Like I think that's the thing with bands now. Like a lot of bands have their own thing. They wanna, they have pegs, but because there's so much bands out there, it's so hard to recognize them. There's this band in Manila. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't heard this sound before. Then my friend's like, no, they sound like this. You just haven't heard them. I'm like, oh crap, disappointing. But some of it's like that, but it maybe it points you to the direction of their peg, or you end up liking the band more. Either way, you learn a lot from these bands.
Well, I think, well, now, like, listening habits are, like, so different na gyud.
Oh, yeah, man. It's a common topic for, like, a lot of musicians in Manila.
Oh, yeah?
It has affected the way, like, how you put out material, even. Like, a lot of bands now do EPs.
Yeah.
Yeah. If some bands even don't do EPs
Single
now. They do singles. They do singles every, like, 2-3 months, every quarter. Because if you put out, like, an album of material, chances are a lot of it's not going to be heard.
Mo lagi. That's right. Kaya ka na, like, you have 10 songs, and then people latch on to, like, 3, 2, and then they look for the next new thing.
Yes, and that's the thing, because without, like, radio before was where you hear the singles for the first time. Yeah. Now it's all word of mouth. Well, internet. Like, oh, this is really cool, and then it gets shared, and then that's how you get into the band nowadays. Like, yeah, like that. It's kind of something that a lot of the old guard have to learn from.
Mo lagi kay a lot of, like, there's a everybody has a romanticizing of the old days.
Yeah, it's a common, well, in a way, like, the rebellion to streaming is the resurgence of vinyl and cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Like, one of my bands now just released a cassette tape, man. Like, limited, like, 40 copies. Like, what? But anyway, that's so cool. And finally, I'm on cassette. After years and years of playing, I'm on cassette again.
Oh, and then I noticed, like, there's some gigs now. I noticed there's some gigs now in here, like, they'll have, like, vinyl. This guy's like playing their.
Oh yeah. Like, it's a thing now. Like, vinyl sets.
Mo lagi?
Listening parties na. Mara na siya gingana.
Mo lagi?
It's more of the taste of the DJ, musical taste of the DJ, rather than, there are shows that are like that. Like, rather than DJs who want you to dance and bounce and,
I keep thinking, I wonder what it's like. Okay, we're both older, so we're, when you're a teenager, you listen to a piece of music, and then that just gets,
stuck in your brain.
You obsess over it. Yeah.
I can only, like, name a few artists, very few artists that I've obsessed over the past few years. I mean, but in terms of how many I listen to, there's a lot. But I don't remember a lot of them because they're on playlists, and maybe I understand the style. I could pinpoint the style. Hey, this is like Yuck, for example, or Always. But I can't name an album of Always or Yuck.
No, but I wonder if that's a product of when you're young, I don't know if that's a young or old thing, but when you're young, when I was younger, I focused on I really latched on a particular brand of music. But is it because there was only 5 or 6 or 7 to choose from at the time? Let's say alternative scene. So like in there was no real, there was no internet. So it was true. You heard about Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
I'm stretching na gani, Soundgarden.
Yeah.
So there was only a handful of.
But you have a good point. Because even during the advent of streaming, you can still see younger crowds latching on and getting obsessed with bands.
So I wonder what it would be like being young today. Like,
they do. They still latch on to music. I think it has something to do with being going through adolescence or going through, when you're going through a phase, then you get introduced to music and you relate that to a particular phase of your life. So that's when you obsess. I think that's like, if I had to pick which moments in my life where I really obsessed on music, like katog yung kibalo ko sa mga albums.
Yeah.
Like you read the inlays and obsess over these bands. I think it was in high school, college, just the same as everybody else.
Okay, so that's how we grew up, right?
Yeah.
But now, like, you got to choose between 10 bands or 10 artists, whatever. But now, it's like thousands to choose from. Yeah. Thousands to get obsessed over. So I wonder what it must be like. You know, you go to your school and, hey, have you guys heard of this?
I think so. It's kind of like that. It's still, maybe it hasn't changed. We just have a lot of options.
Malagi.
We just have a lot of options. But if you come to think about it, during my time, daghan man pug options. But it's not as daghan as
yeah, like now it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But maybe it's still the same kind of, for me, you know, it's either dependent still on like magazines to go and read. Kanang di ako makita. I don't know if that's the same now. But maybe you get introduced to music and then you start from there.
Well, like, I'm curious. I'm kind of curious.
Pero we still do obsess. Like this band that I'm with now, we're not famous or anything.
Uh-huh.
But
what's the name of the band?
Megumi Accorda.
Okay.
Megumi Accorda. The singer is Megumi Accorda.
She's the one that you were talking about. Nga.
Yeah.
She does not do marketing.
she.
I mean,
it's not a conscious effort to do that for her. Like I told you, like we have live videos that she doesn't want to have uploaded, or she's very careful about that. Maybe she keeps things close to her heart, I guess, if I had to describe it. But whenever we play, man, there are kids like singing. I can't even like memorize all the lyrics, but these kids like they sing. They know the lyrics.
So the music is on like Spotify.
It's on Spotify.
Okay.
It's on Spotify. It's on Spotify, and she used to sell like physical copies. Now we got tapes, and it got sold out. Like 40 copies. Yeah. Still, like automatically within 3 days got sold out.
Like, you know, do you have a cassette player? Is a legitimate question.
Yeah, you know, I actually want to buy a cassette player now because I got back home and I'm like, my cassettes are there. Like, okay, maybe I could, you know, relive the old days and stuff.
You know, one of the things that you know, as you accumulate stuff, I realize, I have too much stuff. I kind of have to get rid of, you know, be a little bit more minimalistic.
Yeah.
But and one of the two of the things that pained me good to get rid of was my little suitcase of cassette tapes.
Oh man, I never got rid of them.
Oh yeah, and then like a CD case, sleeve, whatever, those big ones of CDs. I gave it, we had a garage sale. I was like, you know, like, I haven't used these in years. Like, Steph was telling my wife, here, you can sell it. Don't tell me how much you're going to sell it for.
Oh my God.
When it's sold, you know what? Here it is. Ikaw na bahala.
Painful, for me, maybe, you know, I'm just being sentimental about it. And I was kind of thinking, maybe at some point, maybe I could use them to decorate something, like, you know, on a wall or whatever, with CDs or whatever. But, you know, they're still there being hid, you know, hidden in some cabinet at home. Yeah. But maybe, you know, once I get back to tapes, hopefully. But I still haven't bought like a vinyl player, you know. I wanted to do that, but I live in a very small apartment, so it's kind of room that I might need for something else. So,
and
not that important anyway.
Yeah,
but I like the idea of it, getting back to vinyl, the tapes, where you know you listen to the same stuff all over again, all over. You know, just go through one entire tape. Not like now where you get bored, skip.
Molagi, it's really different listening habits. that's why, like, even me, like, I remember I like this band, and I just really just click the artist, and then whatever plays first, which is usually their most known song.
Yeah,
that's what gets played.
that's true.
No.
Yeah.
So, like, sorry, what was the name of the artist? One of the one
that I play for.
Yeah.
Megumi. No.
Megumi
Accorda. Yeah.
Megumi Accorda.
Accorda. That's her name. Megumi Accorda.
Okay. That's like a legitimate, like, kanang not putting stuff online ba? That's actually like a legitimate way to differentiate yourself.
In a way,
Kanang, like, I'm curious.
What happened was, in a way, na followers siya nga. Like, Sandy, like, I'm not sure if you remember Sandy from Outpost.
Of course, Sandy Campo, yeah.
Sandy Campo. We went to Manila, siguro, like a month and a half ago for the U2 thing. Yeah. So, timing na akong we had a gig with Megumi, and I brought Sandy and his wife Amanda there. I was kind of surprised, for a band that doesn't know, like, radio or whatever. Like, people are watching us. Like, the kids like, oh, they're playing. So, tapok sila, they jump around for songs that are not really for jumping around. But, it's fun. I like that.
Yeah,
but it's kind of weird, yeah, in a way. But I like it very much.
But you've been part of, like, really, like, a lot of, I mean, to me, really good projects. Like Urbandub, as you mentioned. No? Was that like your biggest kanang in terms of, I mean, I don't know how to define biggest, really.
Yeah, in terms of work, I guess I think that's the most na daghang nakadungog, I guess. Yeah, where in terms of how, yeah, I think the Influence album was one of my probably like my biggest work, if that's how I describe it, something like that. But the more satisfying work would have been the Sheila album. It was different. It was the Urbandub album. We blood, sweat, and tears, everything. But the Sheila album was on another level.
Which one? Which album were you part of?
I only was part of one album with Sheila, the Flower Fish album.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That album. But it took us a year to make it, and we argued a lot. Best times of my life. Yeah, man, totally. Like, the chemistry was, because with Urbandub, it was kind of easier because Gab is a very, very talented songwriter. With Sheila, we had to work on the chemistry. Like, that album, with the Flowerfish album, we really had to work on the chemistry. Like,
there's a lot more back and forth. And
we were arguing a lot, like, in the studio. Which, for me, which is good. I like that because, tension creates good material for me. And Boobop was really good instinctively. He has very good instincts. So he was a good guide as to the direction. But the raw material came basically from Ian and Bisoy. But we were the ones me and Boobop were the ones who kind of molded it in a way. So it was it was such a group effort. It was a group effort.
No, but I'm curious. Like, so that was for Sheila. Yeah, for Urbandub, it was just there was less, like, was it because, like, Gabi just by sheer personality, no, this is the song, and then
there was a lot of collaboration with Urbandub,
uh-huh.
But I don't know, for some reason there were hard parts. Kaaway po din ng Gabi for like arrangements and stuff. But the stuff that I learned in Urbandub in terms of the songwriting process, it was fully applied, and then I learned some more while doing it with the Sheila album. So,
I guess the Urbandub was probably your first recording. It wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, really?
Like, I had a punk band before that had like 2 albums already.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the punk
On
band?
tape, man. On tape.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the punk band?
Well, yeah, it's a band called Left of Center. It's one of the bands that started the whole SRA thing. Our singer, songwriter Jude, he's like the godfather of the SRA scene. So, we were doing like hardcore, more like melodic hardcore, like, before. First album came out around 96, 97. Second album came out right at the same time Urbandub released. So, oh no, earlier, 2000, 2001.
Wow. I didn't even realize.
Oh, I was like playing in a lot of bands, man.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Even back then.
Yeah, back then. Like even back then, because I kind of hit the ground running as a drummer in terms of being in bands that wrote music, because I never learned how to plaka ba kana bitong to sipra like songs exactly how they are. So part of it was laziness and part of it was being, loving the creative thing. So I gravitated towards bands who wrote stuff, partly because I'm like, I can do my own thing. I don't have to follow anything. I just, yeah.
Actually, that's what I think in a way, like for me also, that's the case because like I was very bad at like learning songs, right? So when our band came around, we're like, oh, let's do our own thing.
See, it's easier and it was more fulfilling. For me, fulfilling.
It's a lot more fun. Yeah.
It's a lot more fun. Yeah. Sayang lang because some of the old material that I had, that, some of the bands that I played with before wrote, like as early as 95, 94, never kept all the recordings. Sayang po, like the very first band I think that I played drums for, the second band that I played drums for was PG-18. Yeah, and we had material back then that's totally different from what PG-18 now is. Like now they're like a machine,
yeah. They were like a rap metal.
But no, man. When we started out, it was like Nirvana, Sonic Youth.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when like PG-18 is one of the bands that I grew up watching, like when I was in high school, no. And then you may or may have not been the drummer when
I'm pretty sure that I wasn't the drummer because I played with PG-18 probably for like 2 years. A year, 2 years. And we played a handful of shows, some fiestas. Some debuts or whatever.
So like late 90s, early 2000s, wala na?
Wala na ko. I think I played with PG-18 until 95.
Okay, because when I saw them, they were covering like Incubus.
Wala na ko na.
Yeah.
We were doing originals when I was like punk originals. My covers that we were doing that time were totally different from what PG-18 was. Like we were doing covers from Nirvana, doing covers from Green Day. We were doing The Youth.
But like
we were a three-piece band, Banggood. So we were. That was how it started. It was three-piece band, so we had to stick to the three-piece model.
Yeah, but I think also just for the listener, I think I should also note nga marag in the 90s, it's not like now there's a lot of emphasis on new music, on making on compositions.
Oh, yeah.
In the 90s, people put you were really good if you could Cipra really well.
It's either you could Cipra really well or you had the most obscure thing. That was the coolest cover ever. So it was like that. It was all covers. Like the metal bands did like the most difficult technical metal band, whatever they could cover. The indie guys were like, let's go obscure. Do you have this on the cover? Do you have this on your repertoire? No, we have this. They're like that. So,
but there wasn't much emphasis on new music. In a way, I feel like Urbandub for me, is one of the bands that made that murag kanang mainstream sort of nga murag, ay, like if you were a musician and then they made their own music. Well, I can name a bunch, but like Urbandub, Sheila, Franco, like for sure those three. At least for me, like I don't know the actual history of it, but for me, nga murag, once I saw those bands, I was like, oh, okay, you can make your own music.
I think what Urbandub started out really like that. Yeah, I guess. I mean, before my time, because I got in the second album na and part of the first album. But before that, they had the attitude of like originals, just pushing with originals.
Well, like I feel like that push happened like 2000s na.
Yeah, late 90s and early 2000s. Like there were bands that were formed in 1999 to 2000, and for me they were very important. Like I think Power Spoons was around that time as well. Power
Spoons. But Power Spoons used to cover. They used to cover also like Limp Bizkit.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. What else? Junior Kilat was that
Junior
time.
Kilat.
Yeah.
Junior Kilat started at that time.
Yeah, but in terms of their respective histories with reggae, they were
Dugay
na. Like Budoy, even like early 90s with reggae, I guess. Robbie Leaf. And then Dagan, Last Leaf, Robbie Leaf. But basically the band started 2000.
Mo ba?
2000, yeah. Like Hardwood. That was a time when good people were hanging out at backyard, so a lot of bands were formed.
In backyard, no?
Yeah, backyard. Because of the whole connections thing. A lot of bands got formed that time.
Well, also, there's probably it was like a major recording studio, so a lot of people really went there.
Yeah, because in Manila was slow on the uptake with regard to digital recording. Because they had very expensive, they had very expensive
equipment.
Old equipment. It wasn't old that time, pero more like the tape thing. It was the norm.
Oh, they were invested in it already.
They were invested in it already. And why would you do digital na nindot naman ang output nila without realizing apparently that digital was the future. So Cebu,
that's right.
Yeah, Cebu that time was didn't have money. You had to be creative. So Sir Jonks was the one who started the whole thing. Him and I think I forgot the name of this other guy who's partner sila, Gilbert, I think. This guy named Gilbert, Jonks, and Jonathan. They were the ones who started the whole backyard digital recording thing. So they had to have like guinea pigs. So we were the guinea pigs. Everybody there.
Oh,
yeah.
I interviewed Mr. Junks, and it was really good. Sad kay.
What did he say?
Well, like he's I don't know. You know how he talks. It's like very like relaxed and chill, But we were talking about like backyard a little bit, and then but I didn't realize like he just offhandedly mentioned so we went to digital recording, and then when he said it, I forgot they were one of the first to do that.
Yes, they were one of the first. That's why there was a different sound coming from Cebu that time, because it was just one studio. So the digital sound, because it got fatter, because of all the plugins.
And also, for very little money, you could work on like a guitar track for hours.
And there was, because of the digital sound, it was totally different from the output in Manila. So on radio, you can really see the difference. You can hear the difference. Like with Urbandub, a lot of the kids in Manila thought that it was a foreign band. When they came out, when the like Soul Searching was on the radio, at first they thought it was a foreign band. It's that's how the mystique of Urbandub came to be, partly because of the sound of the studio.
Oh yeah, it came. I remember talking to Sir Jones. I was like, it came to a point. Like Slapshot, like famously.
Oh, Slapshot
went all the way to Cebu to record there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then so like me as a high school student at the time, like like there's magic coming out of the studio.
Yep. I was there. I was drinking all the time, so I got into all these bands. I was the guy hanging out there all the time, like, dude, let's form this band. Or, we don't have a drummer, you want to play? I was like, I was there, thumbs up all the way.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, so... Well, we've been talking for like almost an hour now.
Wow.
Jai. I'm like, I'm really happy we're just able to like... I mean, I a lot of this for me is also just hearing what the history is of
I maybe have like a sort of a part of an oral history for Backyard in a way. Yeah. Because I hung out there a lot, man. Like a lot. Yeah.
Mo ba?
Grabe. There was a time where Sir Jones actually bought a billiards table, put it at Backyard.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that billiards table.
Yes. Spent a year, man, trying to learn that shit. I was there like every night. Grabe.
Oh, ba?
Oh.
Yeah, like we just went there. I remember when I was in high school, we actually recorded a song there. It's not a song I'm very proud of, but like that was my very first.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Well, like, but that was our very first recording. And then, lingagit kayo. Like, I was so giddy just to be... Because we would go there all the time to practice. But the practice studio was different from the recording studio. So I've been inside the recording studio once. Like, to this day. Once. And then we used to go every week to practice in Backyard. Then, but mo na ba? Like, it still holds just like hollowed ground in my brain.
Me too, yeah. Well, me too, actually. Talking about like the first stuff that you put out, I remember like my very first recording session. There's this recording studio somewhere in Bola. I'm just not gonna name it, but the engineer, I think he's the owner. He's famous for being such a strict guy. So he was recording, I think, on tape man good. And it was expensive. Like that time, during the early 90s, mid-90s. I think he was charging around 1,000 per hour. And this was in the 90s, man. That's practically the same price now.
Yeah.
Yeah, diba? Mahal pa ganin na. Because some studios are like 600 to 800 per hour. Anyway, funny thing was, we were recording and our singer... He was the one that mag-record na siya vocal tracks and I couldn't forget what happened because he's like, okay, the engineer was like, okay, take one take one. Okay, take. And then singer like, he clear his throat. Like, stop. Okay, ulit.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
one. Because it's statement, good.
Yeah,
you have
so
to.
you couldn't like just cut that out?
You just could cut that out, man.
No.
So he's like, so it was like 4 times of doing the same thing, like clearing his throat. I was like, what? We didn't know recording was gonna be like that, Ay nako.
No.
Lagi.
Yeah,
It's funny. The bloopers they used to do in recording before.
Yeah, like well, I'll let you, maybe if you want, you can listen to it. Like, we recorded one in room 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kay...
Bago lang.
Yeah, because there was one day, all the guys were here.
Nice. When was this?
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
So, who was playing that? Jason?
Jason!
Wow, cool.
Yeah, like, we just, like, one day, we were all here.
Wow.
And then, we recorded. It's super fun. And yeah, the nice thing was... We only, it's only one day. So we just recorded everything at the same time.
Day.
Like,
nag-live mo.
Nag-live. But nice mo, good room 11. Like, you could just line in everything.
And a lot of bands do the live thing nowadays.
I think it makes more sense, honestly.
Depends on how you go about it or how you are as a band in terms of chemistry. Some of the bands are comfortable with live. Yeah,
I think, in fact, if I could redo all of our recordings, I would have just done it that way. It I don't know. Like, I like it so much more.
It's easier manggod sometimes with your bandmates and just locked in. Like,
Yeah.
Straight up. Like,
Yeah.
you're looking at the drummer. The drummer is like.
It was really it was really fun. But yeah, moto.
I've been to Room 11. I'm really curious because
It's nice.
it's I heard it's a very very professional studio.
Yeah, Katsuki's doing a pretty good job.
I heard. So that's I wish I could get an opportunity to record there someday.
You can just stop by. I think I've tried just going in there and then like Katsuki's just there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the engineers. I usually just go there, hang out with the engineers. Maybe.
Yeah, the engineers are like young guys. Like the one who engineered ours is Erwin.
Erwin Bear. I heard he's
Erwin.
Yeah.
Erwin. I don't know his last.
Well, we call him Erwin Bear. Yeah, he used to work for Zubu.
The bassist. He's a bassist.
He's a bass guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I thought he mixed. He did well. We're not done. Well, we'll see. But it seemed like
but
I'm
you guys
pretty
had to
happy
do,
with it.
Overdubs.
Like the only one who did overdubs was me.
Oh, okay.
Like I was surprised.
Oh, yeah, bass.
Yeah.
McCoy, not even McCoy.
Not even McCoy. Like McCoy was like, like I was most surprised by Jason because he could still play the drums.
Hasn't he been playing by in Manila?
Nothing. No, I saw him like a week or two before. So, boy, are you, because we were planning it already. And have you prepared? He's like, yeah, I bought drumsticks.
I haven't seen Jason in years, man.
He's just there in Manila, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we should end this.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything you want to plug? Anything I missed?
Nothing, man. It's good. I really thank you that I'm here. It's good to talk about music, man. And usually I talk like this over beers.
I know.
But this is different. This is sober. Yeah, this is cool. Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, right.
Even over beers.
Yes, for sure. Where can people find you online?
Oh, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, Instagram is at Dolino, and Facebook, of course, Jerros Dolino on Facebook, and Twitter at Dolino.
All right, I'll make sure to link those on the show notes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jai, for doing the podcast. He was definitely one of the first people I ever listed for the podcast. It's just that he's moved to Manila and isn't here in Cebu very often, but I was really glad to catch him while he was here. Thank you, Jai, again for doing the podcast. Thank you, Destination Specialist, for sponsoring the podcast. The music from this podcast is Piano March by Audionautics. Again, we've got new merch up in the Assembly online, the Transcentral Cycling Jersey. For 20% off, use the promo code CONVERSATIONS. Head over to assembly.032.com. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/032, or simply share this episode on social media. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Jai. We're going to have another one next Tuesday. Bye.